Hello there. The fly I'm tying today is an Argus Dee Wing Spey fly, freestyle pattern that I designed as an artistic fly. The hook is a Partridge extra long Bartlett blind eye size 3/0. The thread to secure the gut is the Simperfly Nano Silk 24/0 white. Start the thread at the tip of the hook and trim the tag. Wrap a base along the tapered portion of the hook and bring it back to the start. Next, take a section of the silkworm gut and bend the loop around the tapered bodkin. Secure the gut eye from underneath the hook with edge-to-edge wraps along the threaded area. Wet finish and add thin head cement over the wrap. Once dry, trim the ends on a taper with a razor blade. Build up the thread and wet finish, and trim. The thread for the next part is the Unionylon 70 denier white. Start the thread and trim the tag. The tinsel for the tag is the Lagerton Fine Oval Gold Tinsel. Take a piece of the oval tinsel and remove a section of the tinsel down to the core. Secure the tinsel by the core and set it so the tinsel portion is even with the barb. Wrap with smooth wraps to that point. Wrap a base for the tinsel and spiral the thread out of the way. Wrap the tinsel edge to edge for 5 turns. Strip the tinsel to the core again. Unwind the thread and secure by the core with smooth wraps to the point and trim the excess. Wrap the thread back to the end of the silkworm gut. Next, take a section of the small gold embossed tinsel and secure with a few wraps from underneath the hook behind the silkworm gut. Take a strand of purple silk floss and secure beside the tinsel. Hold both firmly and wrap with smooth wraps along the hook shank to the base of the tinsel. Wrap a smooth base to the point. Spiral the thread out of the way and burnish the area. Wrap the silk floss along the base. Unwind the thread and secure the floss along the threaded area. Fold the silk floss over, secure, and trim the rest before the tag. Wrap the flat gold embossed tinsel around the silk tag. 3 wraps at the same angle and evenly spaced and secure in front of the tag and trim the excess. Next, take a section of the golden pheasant crest, slightly longer than the bend of the hook. Trim the excess and flatten the stem. Secure the crest on top of the hook in the center and wrap the thread to the start, wet finish, and trim. Next, I'm switching over to the Unithread 17-aught tricot to secure the veils at the tail. Wrap the thread at the start, trim the tag, and bring it back to the base of the tail. Prepare an Indian Grove feather or substitute. Remove the waist portion from the stem and flatten the stem. Secure on top of the hook and in the center with a few wraps. Make any necessary adjustments, secure and trim the stem. Prepare a blue chatter feather or substitute. Remove the waist portion from the stem and flatten the stem. Secure on top of the hook in the center with the tips even with the top of the black section of the Indian crow feather with a few wraps. Make any necessary adjustments, secure and trim the stem. Prepare a small jungle cock feather. Secure with a few wraps on top of the blue chatter in the center. Set it so the tip is about halfway on the blue chatter. Secure and trim the stem. Next, take a strand of Ostrich Herl. Strip away the fibers from the butt, a small section to the stem. Secure the herl by the stem at the base of the completed section. Build up the base for the butt and spiral the thread out of the way. Wrap the herl edge to edge along the base 5 turns. Unwind the thread and secure the rest of the herl along the threaded area, whip finish and trim. Next, switch over to the Semperfli Nano Silk 12-aught white. Start the thread and trim the tag. Next, take a section of the small gold embossed tinsel and secure with a few wraps from underneath the hook behind the silkworm gut. Add the dark red silk floss beside the tinsel and secure with a few wraps. Then take a large flat gold embossed tinsel, cut a notch into the tinsel with curved scissors. Secure the tinsel with a few wraps from underneath the hook beside the silk floss and adjust the tinsel so the thinnest portion of the notch is at the base of the herl. Have the notch facing down. Grasp all 3 strands firmly and secure with smooth wraps to the ostrich herl butt, keeping the strands parallel to each other without crossing. Build up the thread and have the thread end up behind the gut eye. Next, add the purple silk floss and wrap with smooth edge-to-edge wraps all the way to the base of the herl and build up the thread. Build up the thread around the 1/3 part of the body going forward from the butt and spiral the thread out of the way and burnish the area. Wrap the silk floss forward, slightly overlapped along the burnished area. Unwind the thread and secure the floss from underneath the hook along the length of the threaded area. Fold the floss over and secure. Trim the excess and burnish the silk floss so it's smooth. Next, prepare a long black Heron hackle. Remove the short fibers at the base of the stem and flatten the stem and fold the hackle. Leave a space in front of the silk body and secure the hackle by the tip along the threaded area from underneath the hook. Trim the rest and bring the thread back to the silk body. Move the hackle out of the way and secure with lead wire. Split the thread, wax, and add the purple ice dub loosely. Add the dubbing twister, double over the thread, and spin to secure the dubbing. Once secured, switch over to a hackle plier and brush out the dubbing. Release the hackle and move the thread forward towards the eye. Wrap the dubbing forward, starting at the end of the silk body, in behind the hackle, then in front of the hackle along the threaded area, pulling the fibers back with your fingers. Secure by the thread. Build up the thread and brush out the dubbing. Fold the hackle out of the way and hold it in place with the thread. Wrap the large gold embossed tinsel for the rib with wide, evenly angled and evenly spaced wraps. 2 wraps along the silk body and 3 around the dubbing. Secure in front of the dubbing, trim the excess and build up the thread. Wrap the red silk floss along the edge of the tinsel and secure in front of the dubbing and trim. Finally, wrap the fine gold embossed tinsel tight to the red silk floss and secure in front of the dubbing. Trim and build up the thread. Wrap the Heron hackle along the fine gold tinsel and wrap the remaining hackle as a collar once you get past the dubbing. Secure and trim. Wrap a lead wire around the hackle and the body to keep it out of the way and build up the thread. Prepare another black Heron hackle the same way as the first. Tie it in by the tip tight to the collar. Fold the tip back and secure and leave it. Attach a hackle plier and wrap the hackle as a collar with tight edge-to-edge wraps. Secure by the stem. Fold the stem over, secure, trim, whip finish, and add thin head cement to the wrap. Next, prepare a large blue schlappen hackle. Fold the hackle and trim the tying point. Secure the tip from underneath the hook tight to the collar. Wrap the hackle with tight edge-to-edge wraps. Secure by the stem. Fold the stem over, secure, trim, and whip finish. Take the dyed orange silver pheasant. Prepare it the same way as the schlappen. Trim the tip for the tying point. Secure from underneath the hook and wrap as a collar. Secure by the stem. Trim the excess. Build up the thread and brush out the fibers. Divide the fibers evenly from the top and pull them downwards. Build up the thread, whip finish, and trim. Next, I'm switching over to the Semperfli Nano Silk 24/aught white. Start the thread in front of the collar and trim the tag. Next, prepare the Argus pheasant wing. Cut a section from each side of the wing, left and right, and have them both even. To secure the wings, place both wings flat together with the longest tips even. Place it on top of the hook, measure. You want the tips even with the bend of the hook, and secure a tent style with a soft loop, then add a few more cinch wraps to secure. Once secure, spread out the wings. Next, prepare 2 jungle cock feathers. I want the ends even with the dyed orange silver pheasant hackle. Remove the waist portion at that point and flatten the stems. Secure the jungle cock feathers by the stems on each side, left and right, below each wing. Next, take 2 wood duck feathers from each side of the stems, left and right, with both bars and widths even. Secure each feather one at a time on top of each wing. Adjust the feathers so they're both even. Take a single large jungle cock feather, place it on top, and measure. I want the tip slightly longer than the wood duck feathers and secure. Finally, add the golden pheasant crest sub-feather. Flatten the stem, place on top over the jungle cock feather, and secure. Using a razor, trim the excess on a taper for a neat head. Build up the thread, whip finish, and trim. Switch over to a black thread, whip finish, trim, and add thin head cement. Once dry, finish the head with 5-minute epoxy. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe and hit the like button to see more of them. Thank you.